Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Counter. We are here, as always, in HB Pharmacy in North Arlington, New Jersey. And before we get started, today we're going to talk about some personal experiences with CBD. But before we get started, when we were setting up this shot, I was told, because I have a tendency to talk with my arms a lot and my hands a lot because I'm Italian. So let me just get all this out of the way and block a shot of everyone right now. And okay, we're good. I'll try to keep my hands to myself the rest of the video.
Let's try that.
So today we have Deirdre Sullivan with us, and obviously James,
Hi.
who is also a pharmacist. And we are going to talk about some personal experiences with CBD and that kind of stuff, and kind of just see where the conversation takes us. So thanks for joining us today, Deirdre.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Did you want to start off with any questions?
So yeah, basically, what made you think of CBD oil or CBD in general?
For sleep, basically, was the
Okay.
first thing, because people are always complaining that they don't sleep, even though they probably do. But I always thought it helps relax them. It's a very good add-on
Okay.
to a relaxation therapy.
Okay.
I think
Did you like first see from TV, ad, or just
reading it,
Oh, okay.
reading it, and learning from it in work, and on my pharmacy continuing education.
Right.
They did a lot of it this year because it's become so popular. So
Sure.
I did a lot of continuing education on it.
Okay.
Specifically.
Good. That's a good idea. So for those of you who don't know, the continuing education is for any healthcare professional. We have to take courses. We have to put hours into studying so that to keep renewing our license. So that's actually a pretty good approach for us, especially
Sure.
that we actually read about it.
It makes sense. I am obviously a personal trainer and nutrition coach, so I didn't have anything related like that to it. But for me, I heard about it just on TV, magazines, on
Right.
the internet, like all over the
It's
place.
all
And
over.
For the longest time, I was extremely skeptical. Not because I was skeptical or because of the association with marijuana
Yeah,
and
it
drug
does
culture,
have a
that
stigma
kind
to
of
it,
stuff.
sure.
Like, I can understand the anxiety and relaxing components like that, but then people start talking about CBD. Yeah, I mean, that's really the right word for it. The stigma to it, and where are you getting it from? What's the deal with this? And
Right.
like, who are these people who now are just experts at growing this kind of stuff and doing it? Where did all this come from? It's just very easy as a consumer, especially a typically skeptical consumer, to be skeptical.
Right. Absolutely.
And in the mail, you get something every day, these big newspaper-like things.
Sure.
This is the best one, take this
Right,
one.
right.
And
That's a good point.
I was so glad when we started carrying it. I was like, yes, this is exactly what we need.
Right.
Something completely trustworthy, standardized, and we have information telling you how much to take.
Sure.
These were just gummies or anything. They were, it could be absolutely anything that they were trying to sell you. The topical oils, topical
Right.
creams. There's no standardization at all. So
CBD soap,
this is-
CBD chairs.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's actually one of the scary things that I actually saw is that I believe there was a product that actually, just put it into your tea, like a cup of tea, and just drink it.
Yes.
But then if for myself, when I read into this, when I study this personally, that's actually gonna cause a degradation of the actual compound. So, the major issue that any CBD company that has, including pharmaceutical companies who's actually trying to make this into medication, is all about the delivery system.
Right.
And overall, I think there's a lot of many different review articles and case studies saying that it helps customers, helps patients overall for whatever condition they have, but it's always about the delivery, and that's what we're trying to focus as well about it.
So Deirdre, talk to us about different times you've recommended CBD or used it yourself.
Well, I started out using it topically
Okay.
because I thought that would be a good indication. I suffer from migraines, and I used the topical salve, and it was very good.
And you
Without
just-
I think the
taking
dogs
anything.
agree with you.
Yes, because they suffer from migraines as well.
Right, exactly.
So that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just rub it right on?
You just rub it on your temples,
Temples, sure.
and it's very soothing. It gives you, it relaxes you, and it just takes a little bit of the stress away without the drowsiness.
Okay.
And my son also had hurt his ankle, and the orthopedist had recommended the topical, and that's the first time I bought it. So I trusted his topical as well, because I knew he wouldn't give me something that
Sure.
was inappropriate.
Right.
So he thought it was very good. he rubbed it on his ankle, and you only need a little bit.
Yeah.
You only need a little bit.
Sure.
So it really worked
Yeah,
well.
to add on with the salve or the ointment that we actually have as well. Generally speaking, the half-life is pretty short as a topical version. So if you want something for a full 24-hour coverage, I do recommend personally 3 to 4 times daily of the application. So,
Yes.
But
For the
I mean-
migraine, I hoped it would just get rid of it,
Right.
right away. So I didn't have to reapply.
Right,
It
right.
actually really worked. So I
Good.
wasn't reapplying it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would. If it was still there, I would reapply it
Right.
2 or 3 times a day.
Right. So also it also has the anti-inflammatory effect. Has the reason it
Right.
helps with the if you have hurt yourself, playing sports, lifting. Especially, I've actually had few patients coming in asking
Myself
about it.
included.
Right, because of that reason. So yeah, definitely, it's a good thing to try.
Yeah, I've used it on my knees specifically in that sense, and it helps a lot. Especially, and that's another interesting thing that we could talk about too. It's not something you necessarily need all the time, every
Right.
day, constantly like that.
Exactly.
I apply kind of when I'm like, I had a particularly tough workout today, or I can feel my knees are starting to bug me a little bit, so I
Sure.
kind of apply it topically in that sense on an as-needed basis almost.
After working all day, I put a little on my neck. It's
Okay,
very good.
sure.
Ease a tense neck. It helps very much.
Yeah, it's because there are a few other alternative medications out there. Obviously, for example, for neck pain and things like that. Over the counter, it's sometimes you might feel a little weak sometimes, or it's just kind of menthol, just got to give the cooling sensation. Versus some medications that people would be prescribed for pains and for spasms like that. Sometimes people feel that's too strong, as in that it almost knocks them out for sleep.
Exactly.
So CBD in that case helps in that kind of midway to actually get some of the relief that you're looking for. At the same time, it's readily available. So.
Oh, and speaking of our Axel and Brooklyn,
The dogs.
The
Oh yeah,
dogs.
that's our
The
dogs.
dogs.
I use it
In case you
for
didn't
my.
hear that at home,
I'm
the
using it
dogs.
for my pet, the drops.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's great
Yeah.
because she's very anxious going to the vet or going to the groomer,
Yeah.
and I've been using it for her as well, and I think it works wonders.
Yeah,
works
we
wonders.
actually have the bacon flavor. I would like
And
to
she
try
enjoys
myself.
the bacon
Yeah,
flavor.
right.
But yeah, absolutely.
How about for your mother as well? Because I know you've recommended it to her too.
She suffers from arthritis, and I've added it to her regimen, her pain medication regimen, and I think it's working out quite well because she seems to be taking less and less of the stronger pain medicine.
Good.
So she'll take it once a day.
Nice.
Usually, and helps her sleep. She complains about not sleeping as well, so it helps her sleep at night.
Right.
Cool.
So one that she's holding right now, it's our pretty pink one. It's a 2,000 milligram. So each dropper has about 40 milligram of the CBD oil, or full spectrum hemp oil. It is pretty on the stronger side compared to the other ones out there. And when I say strong, I have seen some ads online and other places that I've seen. If they're stating that per dose is like 150, 300 milligrams, I'll be a bit skeptical with that. Some of the studies that I personally read, I don't know if that's something I would recommend as a pharmacist as well, to be at that high of a dose. That's number one. Number two, I don't even know if it really has that much content of the strength in it. So this is a 2,000 milligram that we see, and personally I would recommend this to people with pain, who is taking strong painkillers, who also has an issue with anxiety and sleep. Unfortunately, people who have this issue with pain, you have kind of everything, unfortunately.
Sure.
So in that case, that's something that would be helpful. for them
One
as
thing I
well.
wanted to show too, going off that's a common question that we get, like he was talking about the dosage and how many are in each dropper full. A lot of people that we've talked to end up just taking a couple drops and not realizing that they actually need a full dropper full. So what you do, you squeeze it, it pulls the oil up in like this, and that was not a full one. And you can see here when you pull it up here, you want to actually do the entire thing. So this one in particular is 20 milligrams per milliliter, and there's some indicators on here that say 1 milliliter. So it's actually that entire thing that has the oil in it.
Now, is it best to let it rest under your tongue or just swallow it? What do you find?
Good
I
question.
take the capsules. I haven't taken the tincture.
Sure. So the tincture, especially because it has you can smell it from here. It's like a lemony, earthy. So the capsules are good if you have taste sensitivity, if you will. But yeah, let it rest under your tongue. CBD, I believe, as a whole, when you digest it just as the oil, the compounds kind of get destroyed and it doesn't get absorbed well that way.
Right.
So the idea, I mean, I'll do it. The idea is to just put it under your tongue.
And now, as Vince is taking this, so he's technically not allowed to talk for a minute, so we can all take a break from him for a bit. So the idea is that he's going to try to keep it in his mouth, and it's going to get absorbed by his gums. So generally speaking, depending on the amount of liquid that you put in your mouth, I recommend between 1 minute to 2 minutes. For something like this, 1 ml is 1 dropper full. Generally, 1 minute is sufficient, and after that, you can swallow. I do recommend sometimes that kind of swishing the mouth a little bit as well, so that it also enhances absorption as well. So, as we see, he's trying to do that, and
Where's
after
the Jeopardy
that,
music?
yeah, right. And then he can definitely swallow it, and then hopefully
It's a long minute.
it is definitely a long minute. And people will ask, well, when will it kick in? From personal experience as a pharmacist and for myself as well, generally I would say about 30 minutes to an hour, you kind of feel it. It can be just a little bit of relaxation. You may get a little drowsy. You might get a little relief from pain. And that's with the tincture form, because generally, unlike, I know, Deirdre, you said you're taking capsules.
Capsules.
Capsule generally takes a little longer to kick in, because first of all, you take it by mouth. It goes in, it gets metabolized by your liver. And so to get into your bloodstream, it takes a little longer time. But with the tincture, it's a little quicker. So that's when you feel it. I have seen a couple customers actually, and patients. I have realized that after 3-4 days of taking CBD oil, they felt more prominent effect from it, a positive effect from it. So I have definitely seen that as well. So I would definitely recommend at least a week to give it a shot.
Right,
Whether it's
better than just 1 dose,
Sure.
definitely.
I should have had a timer. Am I good, you think?
I think you're good. I think you're good. I think you're really
I'm going
good.
through talking withdrawal now. So I took 20 milligrams. That's
Right.
what I just did. What in general do you guys see as the dosage? Because it varies person to person, right? So what do you typically see, recommend? What are your thoughts on that?
It's really that's really difficult area to talk about, and it's really, we won't be able to give you a specific dosage because everybody's different. And actually, I've had patients come in, oh, can we just make a pre-printed dosing guideline on this? And I really can't, because an individual scenario on the medication they're taking, their conditions, whatever they tried before, everybody's different on that. However, in more general sense, what Vince took, I recommend that just 1 dropper full of that, just like what he did, about 2 hours before you go to bed, and try that for about 3 days. And then after that, talk to a professional, and we can try to figure out the dosing after that. So that's probably how I recommend it first.
I think the key thing is, like, there's a reason. Well, CBD is everywhere. It's at the gas station,
absolutely.
the grocery store. But a lot of people are taking medication. A lot of people aren't sure how to take it or what the uses for, the benefits. And there's still a lot. At lower dosage, safety is probably okay, but it's still something the FDA is studying a lot and looking into, and from a safety perspective. So it's always best to consult with a practitioner, that kind of stuff. And that's why we started carrying this brand as well too, because they only allow pharmacies, doctors, and practitioners, because they want that knowledge to go along with it, because that's really important, especially in today's society where more and more people are taking medication and trying to be healthy, but it's not good to just be throwing everything into your body willy-nilly.
And I think everyone responds differently to that drowsiness component.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So you really have to see. I would recommend first time taking it, definitely be in for the evening.
Sure.
And getting ready for bed.
Mm-hmm.
And probably you'd go a little higher, maybe, if you want to if you wanted to make you sleep.
Absolutely.
Then if you just want to take the edge off, I think you could adjust the dose that way.
Of
My
course.
son has been taking it for anxiety, studying for exams, and we cut back probably half a dose, just enough so he can focus but not get drowsy.
Sure. I mean, studying alone puts me to sleep, but
Right.
Exactly. But this he gets anxious.
Sure.
He gets anxious.
Sure.
So.
Another thing to
It was
bring up
very
too,
helpful.
that's good to hear. That's good to hear, especially as students and exams, like prescription drug abuse is
Oh,
crazy. We're
it's-
doing another video on that actually.
it's way
And
too much.
It
out
is
there,
currently
honestly.
1:00 in the afternoon our time right now, presently as we're filming it, and I took this, so you can take it. Especially some people experience that drowsiness, but if you're not someone who experiences that drowsiness, as much intentionally, besides just the general drowsiness of, oh, I'm getting ready to go to bed, that
Sure.
kind of stuff. It is okay to take during the day. I know people who take it.
It is.
During busy season for accounting, they were really stressed out at work, and they were taking it in the morning and maybe again at lunchtime to kind of just throughout the day just keep them.
Exactly. They have so much adrenaline pumping
Sure.
through them. They're not getting that drowsiness side
Right,
effect.
but that's why it's important too to consult with a practitioner about it, because they can help you kind of troubleshoot. Okay, this is what you're doing.
Sure.
Maybe try this dosage. Maybe try a little in the morning, a little at night. Maybe split it up throughout the day and kind of work to troubleshoot the benefits in that case.
Right, and again, extremely important that you do talk to a practitioner prior to it. I've seen hemp oil by itself at a local store as just like olive oil, I guess.
Right.
And I have spoken to the person who is promoting it, and then like a little bit of an argument over it, saying this will help with the pain, yada yada yada, as what we would recommend as a practitioner. But then, as far as I'm concerned, something like that, hemp oil that you would put into food, what you would eat, you get a high level of omega-3.
Right.
But other than that, I don't see any other. And again, because we talked about how it destroys a lot of it as soon as you ingest it by your stomach acids. So you have to be careful where you're getting your things and who you speak to as well.
For sure. And also, I'm not high right now, so.
I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, right?
Well, it's certified to have very little THC,
Correct,
less
yeah.
than 0.03%.
0.3.
0.3, yes.
0.3. That's from the Farm Bill passed in 2018. That's the legal limit for THC.
Sure.
in a
There is
product like that, but yeah.
THC-free versions as well. However, I personally don't think just because you drink the whole bottle of it, then it's not going to get you high. If
Right.
That's what some people are looking for. You're not going to get that from here.
It's not happening. It's not happening. No.
Is there anything else you guys want to bring up as far as personal experiences with it that we haven't touched on thus far, or anything like that?
Personally speaking, well, I take that every day myself at night for sleeping purposes. It certainly helped me to cut down the number of pills that I've been taking. As a pharmacist, when I speak to customers about this, it's I get a lot of people who feel guilty taking pills. And now let me
You mean pills, like traditional
correct
medicine?
traditional
Yeah.
medications. Given the fact that a lot of sleeping pills are actually controlled medications.
Sure.
It leads to dependency, addiction, and things like that. And people feel bad by taking it. I don't want to take this stuff. And a lot of people tell me that's the first thing they say. I don't want to take this stuff, but I have to for me to function.
Sure.
And it's a great alternative for those people like that, including myself, to take this. It might not replace all the medications you're taking, but hopefully to reduce the amount of medications you're taking. So it's definitely another alternative approach on that. So it's definitely something I would recommend anybody who's taking control medications for sleeping, anxiety purposes to
I
look
think
into
it's
this.
definitely enhancing the effects.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. People who are
And
in
can
pain.
lower dosages, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because there are a lot of side effects. And that's a funny thing. People, because so new, are concerned about this product. Oh, what are side effects? And they're concerned about many negative things that might happen to them. At the same time, the prescriptions, the ones that you're already taking, are actually pretty more well known for its side effect and
Sure.
bad effects, like you can't go to the bathroom, or
The dependency factor.
right,
too.
Dependency
dependent
factor,
as
exactly.
well. So compared to all that, I mean, a lot of times I have difficult time talking to customers and patients about not taking too much Motrin or Advil because it's going to upset your stomach. But some people take them like candy, unfortunately.
Sure.
They do.
So but definitely speak to your professionals. But something that I will feel definitely safe on approaching this product from now on.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thank you guys all for joining us. If you would like to speak to us further about this, please reach out. You can find more information on how to do that at gasparsbest.com or at hbpharmacy.com. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for joining us today, Deirdre.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. See ya. A lot of times people in general or come to me and ask questions or you to ask questions. It's what do I eat? What exercise do I do, right? It's all this physical kind of stuff, and we have a tendency to neglect the importance of, the mental aspect of things and how much, believing in yourself, being honest with yourself stepping out of your comfort zone, how much of an impact that actually has on personal growth, whether it's physically or mentally.